Joining us is Warren Mundine, CEO of ntscorp Limited, native title service provider. Welcome, Warren.
Welcome.
Warren, are you satisfied with the way native title agreements have progressed since the High Court's Mabo decision in 1992?
No, and there'd be very few people who would be. It's a very long, drawn-out process. Some of our claims that have gone through in New South Wales here is taken from about 10, 11, 12 years, and probably 6 years at the lower end. So it's far too much drawn out.
How important is native title to future generations of Indigenous people?
Well, it's very important. It's recognition of Indigenous rights prior to Europeans coming here. It's recognition that we were the original owners of this land, and most importantly of all, not only that recognition, but it's also the benefits that can come out of it in regard to agreements and through resources activity and so on.
How do you ensure native title rights are adhered to once native title is granted?
Well, that's the big question, and there needs a proper mechanism put in place so that the agreements that are agreed to are adhered to, and there is follow-up. There would be a question mark when we go down a couple of years down the track about what ones have been honoured and what ones haven't.
How long will it take for all native title claims to be resolved, and do you think the process should be speeded up?
Well, currently we're looking at about 30 years or more the way we're going with native title claims. The process does need to be speeded up. We shouldn't be waiting 6 to 10 years, 12 years, 13 years for these outcomes. Usually what we find on day one, what people are talking about and what people want and what people need from the agreements are usually what's signed off at the end of the agreement anyway. So I think we do a lot of wasting money. I think the only people who are making money out of this system are the lawyers, and Aboriginal people are the ones who are struggling and living in misery. I've been to a lot of claims where the elders who started on day one have passed away and not seen their claim come through for fruition. So we need to have a faster process. We need to adhere to what the rhetoric of the governments and other agencies are saying about negotiations, and have fair negotiations where people will sit down within a short period of time and come to the conclusions.
Warren, are Indigenous people receiving their fair share of earnings from the booming resources industry?
Well, it's a bit of a hit and miss. If you have very strong native title rights across, like you're looking at in West Australia, the Pilbara and the Kimberleys and other areas, they're getting a lot better, fairer rights, and you can consider people in New South Wales and Victoria and some southern areas of Queensland. So how people are treated is differently across Australia. We need to have a more standardised approach. We need to have better outcomes for all Indigenous people in regard to this whole area.
Where do you start to try to create more equity?
Well, it starts from the mining companies. It starts from the tribunal, and it starts from the government at all levels. These are the people that the mining companies, for instance, what they're doing in the Pilbara, what they're doing in the Hunter Valley. They should be behaving and acting the same. Not in one place this is how we act, and in another place this is how we act. It should be consistent, it should be across the board, and people should be treated equitably.
Finally, Warren Mundine, what points will you be touching on in your presentation to the Native Title Developments Conference at the Brisbane Marriott Hotel on the 27th and 28th of October?
Well, some of the issues that we're looking at is the credible evidence. We call it the incredible evidence because it seems to be a moving feast. You can't actually pin it down in our state what that actually means, and every time you think you've got it, the government and other people then change the field, the sporting field. So that I'll be touching on very strongly. The other areas, of course, are how developers and mining companies and governments act across state boundaries, and they should be acting in a more consistent manner. There'll be other areas looking at time frames and the cost of a native title and how we can work that back better.
Warren Mundine, thanks for talking with us, and we look forward to your presentation at the conference.
Thank you very much.